Good day and welcome to Conversations with AARP in the Virgin Islands. I'm Troy Deshabert-Schuster, State Director of AARP here in this territory, and it's a great pleasure to be with you all again today. We hope that everybody is continuing to remain safe from COVID-19, continuing to be healthy, and if you do have any friends or family who have contracted the virus, we hope that they will recover quickly. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. And today we have a very special guest from the Virgin Island Trail Alliance, and that's Miss Alma Winkfield. Alma, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good day. Nice to see you and pleasure to be on.
Thank you. And so you are the Vice President of the VI Trail Alliance, the Virgin Island Trail Alliance, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. So tell us a little bit first about yourself, where are you from originally, and what brought you to the Virgin Islands? I think it's quite interesting.
Well, I was raised in Canada, but I've made my home in St Croix since the mid-'80s. And I came down as a traveling nurse, and I worked at the JFL hospital for many years.
Right. So many years. How many years was that? I know it's a long time, but tell us how many years exactly.
It was actually, I don't like to count. It's somewhere between 35 and plus.
Wow. Nice. So you've helped to bring healing to a lot of people here in St. Croix.
I've seen a lot of things, and I believe I helped a lot of people, and it was a wonderful experience.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for all of your many years of service in the health services here on St. Croix. And so tell us now about the Virgin Island Trail Alliance. How did that come about? Who founded it, and what's your involvement in it right now?
Actually, the Trail Alliance was originated in 2016 by Aaron Hutchins, and there was a group of trailblazers, and they began as a trail making and riding group in the northwest corner of St. Croix, and they actually have cleared approximately 14 miles of trails. So they had done a lot of work, and then in early 2017, before the hurricanes, I had just completed building Sundial Park in Tulipan Welcome. It was quite a success. We joined forces, and what that did was it brought people, like-minded people together, and we had lived, worked, and recreated here in St. Croix. We all loved it, and this is home. And we brought our talents, our education, and our dreams together. And this is how we formed Vital.
Wonderful. And so what is Vital's main thrust, main drive? What is the purpose of the organization at this juncture, at this time?
We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so we're all volunteers. And our focus and mission is to build primitive trails, multi-use pathways, pedestrian infrastructure, and green spaces across St. Croix and the territory. But these, I should mention that it is in conjunction with the community and government leaders. And our real goal is to have them public access for all users.
Right. And I understand that you have mapped out the whole island of St. Croix with various trails. Can you tell us a little more about that? I know you have a very detailed presentation regarding that.
Yes. Shortly into 2017, right after the hurricanes, the Department of Interior gave us technical support. And this is free to the community. And through that technical support, we were able to bring people, organizations, government leaders together. And we worked on creating what we call our concept map. And this is basically routes, pedestrian infrastructure, trails, green spaces from Gallows Bay all the way west into Frederickstead. And we have actually put it into a GIS map, and we continue to build off of that. And it is available on our website.
Right. And now that also ties in with your Sundial Park and Tulipan Welcome, does it? Because from what I'm understanding is that you will have various trails and then rest areas, right? So does that also tie in with that park that you mentioned before in Tulipan Welcome, the Sundial Park?
Absolutely. In fact, we designed it so that even though it stretches the length of St Croix, it can be broken down into segments, and then each segment is a working park. And so we are right now we have a hazard mitigation grant, which is going to allow us to purchase 50 acres of land, which will be made to be public access into perpetuity along the Spring Gut Road. And that also ties into Sundial Park. So that is one segment of the overall concept, yes.
And where does the name Sundial come from in Sundial Park?
Sundial Park was actually named after Mr. Gonzalez. Everyone used to see him in the market. He had that wonderful, he was a merchant, and he had a store downtown. And so anyone who went to Christiansted pretty well knew Mr. Sundial. In fact, they called him Sundial. And when we were creating our park in the Tulipan area, we said we needed to have a realistic name. And it turns out that Mr. Gonzalez actually raised cattle in that area for many, many years. And so he was tied to it. And we had reached out to the family and said we would be honored to use his name. And of course, using Sundial, then of course we had to build a working sundial on the property.
Yes, I remember seeing that sundial. It's a human sundial, right? So if you stand in a certain position, the human body becomes the needle on that sundial, correct?
Yes, and you cast, exactly, your shadow will cast your shadow onto the dial and it'll tell the time, as long as the sun is out.
Right, right. And I'm sure that many of our listeners on St. Croix at least remember Mr. Gonzalez, who everybody referred to as Sundial. That was his nickname there on Company Street. I'm some 50 years old now, and I remember from the time I was a little child, he would be outside of his shop, which was right next to Clara's. There was a little grocery store named Clara's right next to him. And when if you needed anything, any unusual item for your house, you went to Sundial, and he knew exactly where to find it in his shop. He was a wonderful
And in
gentleman.
actual fact, he was named Sundial after the shoes that he sold. It was a Sundial product.
Exactly, and I'm glad you know that because very few people know that, but I looked into it, and there is an old brand of shoes called Sundial. The brand name is Sundial. Yep, you're absolutely right. He sold it there in his shop. Interesting, little island history here. And so, getting back again to the trails, in 2019, AARP supported the VI Trail Alliance with a community challenge grant to construct a bike lane on St. Croix. Tell us about that. Why did you think of doing a bike lane? Where is the bike lane situated? What is the status of it now?
That's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But yes, we did gain we were very happy to have the funding from the AARP Community Challenge Grant. And what we decided to do was to have a very visible product. Up to that point, we were working behind the scenes. We were designing, we were bringing people together and constantly working, but there was so much else going on in the island. It gave us time to put the concept map together. So when the funding came through for AARP, we chose the bike path to run over the existing Christiansted bypass route. It was probably one of the better roads on the island. It was very visible, and the people would see what we were doing. One of our goals was to make a complete street. There are very few that are complete in the territory or on St. Croix. And that strip actually has a walkable sidewalk that is really well used. And at the time, the lookout area was overgrown and needed reconstruction, reconfiguring. So we decided to not only cause to have happened the bike lane, but to also make improvements along that street so that we can, we put in things like historical signage at the lookout. We took out the old bougainvilleas, put in palm trees, put up flags, and we worked with the Historical Society and the National Park Service and did a historical rendering for the lookout, and then put other benches along down by the graveyard by Peter's farm. And we also did a storytelling circle at the Cannigator Ballpark under the tamarind tree.
Yes, and I'm sure that many people have seen those benches on the Christiansted bypass. And yes, you spearheaded that along with my brother's workshop, and we were so pleased that on the seat back, on the backrest of each one of those benches, there is emblazoned the logos of the VI Trail Alliance and AARP. So that was a very nice touch.
And also DPW. And one of the wonderful things is Commissioner Petty has been a great supporter of our projects. And he expanded that whole value by adding the bike lane addition. He'll be providing the striping materials. And as far as we didn't quite get the plan completed, and that was more due to safety. We wanted to slow things down, make sure we got it right. It turns out that that is a federal road, and anything that occurs on a federal road must meet the standards of the DOT. So it went back to DPW, and with the recent road projects going on, the bike lane got stalled. It didn't disappear. We worked with them and we found a way to get it moving again. We have found 2 engineers on the island who are volunteering their services to get the striping plan completed along with a signage plan. And what is so important about this is once this goes into DOT and is approved, this will become the template for the territory. So that will mean that on this design, it will be able to be applied to other road lengths, such as the waterfront in St. Thomas, or along the new road projects or the improvement projects across the territory that are being funded now.
Excellent. Well, we hope that it will be completed soon. It'll be a wonderful addition to the Christiansted bypass. You know, we see more and more bikers all over the island, and I myself used to be a biker, but I stopped biking because I'm simply afraid of the roads now. You know, there are potholes, and if you're riding a bicycle and you hit a pothole, you could have a very serious fall. You could fall right into the line of traffic. So this bike lane will be a wonderful addition for those bikers on the island, and also serve as a prototype. You mentioned complete streets. So this Christiansted bypass, once the bike lane is completed, will be the first official complete street in the Virgin Islands. Now, before we get into the particularities about complete streets, tell us a little bit about the Walkability Institute, just very briefly, because I know you've been involved with the Walkability Institute hosted by the Department of Health here.
Yes, the Department of Health actually worked with CDC, and they came down and they did a study in 2016 and released a study 2017 after an extensive walkability study throughout the island, and they reported back to us. And what it does is this report becomes a template. It becomes a starting point of where we are. Finally, it is a reputable study, and it brought back the lack of pedestrian infrastructure, basically. It documents where we are at this time.
Right.
And the walkability
Go ahead.
Yes, the Walkability Institute is active throughout the territory. We have 3 groups working on all 3 islands. We have projects on each island, and we are also promoting and supporting complete streets for the territory.
And now talking about complete streets, the basic definition of a complete street is that it's a street that is safe for all modes of transportation, safe for automobiles, safe for bicycles, safe for pedestrians, etc. And so a complete street should have well-marked vehicular roadways. Where feasible, it should have a biking lane constructed within the road itself on the asphalt pavement. Also, a complete street should have sidewalks that make sense. We see here in the Virgin Islands that we have what I call pop-up sidewalks, sidewalks that lead from nowhere to nowhere. You're driving along, you're like, oh, there's a sidewalk. Why is that there? It doesn't lead from anywhere to anywhere. So we want to have sidewalks that make sense on complete streets so that pedestrians can get around on foot, thereby also improving their health. Also, these sidewalks should be fully handicap accessible. So anybody in a wheelchair, anybody who is visually impaired, or even a mother pushing a baby in a stroller can access the sidewalk easily. Again, I've seen very often where you have a young mother pushing a baby in a stroller, and then she has to stop and lift up the stroller to get it up onto the sidewalk or lift it down off the sidewalk. A complete street should also have properly marked crosswalks so that people can cross the road safely. A complete street should have proper illumination in the night, proper street lights. Complete street should also have proper traffic lights to avoid accidents. So all of these elements together make up a complete street. So as you mentioned, the Walkability Institute, they did a walk audit. They looked at the walkability of our streets. And now at AARP, being the advocacy organization that we are, we have brought in complete streets policy. And we have the draft of the bill, and it's coming before the legislature, if not later this month, then certainly next month. And once enacted, it will dictate then that anytime a street is touched within the territory, whether it's for repairs or even if they're constructing a new street, that it should be a complete street. The complete streets policy also forms within the Department of Public Works a task force of members of the community who will work together and collaborate with the Department of Public Works to make sure that as streets are touched or constructed newly, that they are complete streets. So we're really, really, really excited about this. And we're really happy that the Walkability Institute of the Department of Health has really played into this. And we're so happy that you, Elma, and our community partner of the Art Trail Alliance is an integral part of developing this. So give us some of your thoughts on that policy, and how do you see it really benefiting, and this task force benefiting streets here in the Virgin Islands?
Yes, we are in full support of the complete streets. It is something that is so necessary. At the present time, the VI Trail Alliance has expanded our vision because we see a need, and we're trying to fill a gap until such time that the complete streets can really take hold and give direction. One of the important things about complete streets is that as administration changes and the commissioners change, sometimes focus changes. But with legislation, this will continue to guide the direction in which the department will move in, because it's law. And I think that is critical. For many, many years, all focus has been, or major focus has been on vehicle traffic and what the vehicles need: straighter roads, faster movement, and the walkability report indicated that 88.6% of the streets do not have sidewalks, and 12% of the streets that actually exist do not lead to destinations like bus stops or stores or schools or hospitals, and there's absolutely zero bike lanes. So this is important that we start this work now, and Complete Streets will definitely lead the way. And in the meantime, VI Trail Alliance is working with the Department of Public Works and the government agencies to try to start the work.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to the passage and enactment of the Complete Streets policy here in the Virgin Islands. I think it'll make a really, really, really great difference. And we we also want to talk a little bit about the 8 domains of livability. I'm sure you've heard a lot about that, Alma, because you're an expert in AARP. Thank you for being a great partner. And so the AARP is the United States affiliate of the World Health Organization. And together with the World Health Organization, we developed the 8 domains of livability. And these 8 domains take into account every aspect of a vibrant, healthy, livable community. And so I'll just read through the 8 domains. The first is outdoor spaces and buildings. So that's where VI Trail Alliance comes in again with outdoor spaces like Sundial Park and other parks along the way. Transportation. So again, that's where VI Trail Alliance comes in with various trails and lanes and so forth. Housing. Housing is very important. Social participation, number 4. Respect and social inclusion. Everybody should be respected and included in the society. Work and civic engagement is number 6. Number 7 is communication and information. And number 8 is community and health services. And so what AARP has been doing nationally is getting various communities with elected officials like counties and states to have their elected official formally enroll that locale, that community, in the AARP network of age-friendly states and communities. And so we were so very pleased that about 2 years ago, Governor Bryan formally enrolled the Virgin Islands in AARP's network of age-friendly states and communities. And what that does for the Virgin Islands is it also gives them great access, gives a government here great access to all of the resources of the World Health Organization as it relates to the 8 domains of livability, as well as to AARP's incredible resources. It does not say or state that the Virgin Islands is already a livable community. That's not the purpose of this enrollment. What it does show is that Governor Bryan is committed to work toward making the Virgin Islands into a more livable community. And so we're very excited about that. And I think that also it'll really benefit the work of the Virgin Island Trail Alliance. What are your thoughts on this enrollment and the 8 domains of livability?
I think it's very important. We as a trailblazing organization and park builders, we basically started at the community level. We're grassroots. And so we have actually, I think we have done a great job to put plans together on very limited resources. And we have brought the ideas to many, many government and other organizations and have really gained great support. But when the top of the government of our Virgin Islands signs on in a big way and says that he supports it and he has strong commissioners underneath him, like the Department of Health, Commissioner Encarnacion and also Mr. Petty at DPW. They are strong, strong supporters. And so when we get this kind of commitment and insight into the needs and the direction and vision, it's very powerful.
It's wonderful, and this is a great way also for AARP to show the community that we are about people of all ages. We focus mostly in the 50 plus population, But this is one program that we have, this network of age-friendly states and communities, this whole Livable Communities campaign that we have, that's about people of all ages. You know, many people think AARP is just for, as they say in their own words, for old people and insurance. But we're not for old people and insurance. We're about helping people to live their best life no matter what age they are. And we're about community outreach and advocacy. And so at AARP, we always say what we do for one, we do for all. And also, as we look at livable communities, we say what's good for somebody who is 80 years of age is good for somebody who is 8 years of age, is good for somebody who is 8 months. Because again, somebody who's 80 who may be in a wheelchair trying to get onto a sidewalk, or a child who's 8 months in a stroller, you know, being pushed up onto a sidewalk, it works for both. So we're very, very excited at AARP that Governor Bryan has enrolled the Virgin Islands in this network of age-friendly states and communities. We're so happy to have the VI Trail Alliance as a community partner, and we know we have so much more to learn from you, Alma, and we want to have you back in the show another time to share all of those wonderful maps of the island that you have, showing the complex network of trails and paths covering the whole of St. Croix. And so anything else you'd like to share with us at this moment about your work that you're doing here in St. Croix?
Well, I just wanted to say that to get more information, go on to vitrails.org. And we're very transparent, and there's a great deal of information there. And one of the things we'd like to ask the community is to support us financially, to just come out and volunteer if you can. Find a way to give back. We're trying to help government. We are government, and together we'll make this. And the final thing I'd like to say is that, you know, it was the proper time, or the best time to do all of this was probably 20 or 30 years ago. But the second best time is right now, and we can do this if we do it together.
We can, especially now as we're still recovering from Hurricanes Irma and Maria, and more resources are still coming into the Virgin Islands, and roads are being repaired and so forth. This is the time to do so much more and to enhance life here in the Virgin Islands. So we thank you for your wonderful work, and we look forward to speaking with you again in the near future and learning much more and building a community together. As you said, we are the government. We are the people. We all have to work together. So, Alma, thanks so much for being with us today. And again, we will look forward to speaking with you in the near future.
Thank you so much for having me, Troy. It's a pleasure, and thank you, viewing audience. It's great to get to know you.
Yes, thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.